Hi, everyone. My name is April Gordon, and I'm the Associate Director of the Youth Philanthropy Initiative.
Hi, y'all. I'm Hannah Jarman. I'm Program Director with Tulsa Changemakers. And we are kind of reaching out via video today, via Zoom video, because you all received a save the date for our first ever Youth Philanthropy Summit happening on December 1st. And we wanted to give you a little bit more kind of an understanding of why this event is important to us personally. And we both kind of have two experiences with youth philanthropy that we wanted to share before we dive into some of the kind of foundational understandings for today's, for this video that we're creating. So April, tell us about your experience with youth philanthropy. What did it mean to you?
Yeah, so my first experience with youth philanthropy was actually with YPI when I was a high schooler. And when I was 15, I joined cohort 3. We're currently on cohort 15 of YPI, so I feel old, but it was just an amazing experience. It was my first real introduction to the concept of philanthropy, and it really helped me grow as a leader. It put me on the path to who I am today, both professionally and personally. And it's really been the privilege of a lifetime to come back to YPI and to help grow our next generation of YPIers.
That's really cool. Yeah. So I didn't have a YPI growing up, but my dad was always involved in different nonprofits doing just different community service work throughout the city. So, and I grew up in the South of Chicago. But it's funny because I talk to people now and I'm like, you didn't spend every Saturday morning like doing some type of community service or volunteer event. And that's just my mentality. I kind of grew up just constantly doing, volunteer work in multiple different capacities. And so it's cool to see how that's kind of translated into the work that I do now. And we believe that those experiences are really formative and really important for young people to go through. And we realize too that, young people are huge assets in our community that we often aren't leaning on for, the knowledge and power that they can bring to a space. So with that said, we thought we could have a little summit to talk about some of those things and what actions we could take moving forward. So I'm going to pass it to April to kind of give a little bit of an idea of where we're at now and where we're moving forward with the concept of the summit.
Yeah, so the first thing I'd want to share is, this partnership between Changemakers and YPI really came out of this mutual desire that we had to coordinate and make youth philanthropy in Tulsa more vibrant, more interconnected. We like to think about youth philanthropy as a spectrum across the lifespan. And so really investing in those connections between our two organizations, but not stopping there, trying to really invest in the ecosystem of our community, and really the sky's the limit of what we can create together. If you'll forgive me, I'm going to share my screen real quick and share an infographic because that's how I roll. But a way to think about this event is the iceberg model. Right now, we're at the events level with youth philanthropy. We have the programming that YPI and Changemakers does, the programming that is done all across the city by all kinds of wonderful partners across education and nonprofit industries. But right now, it's not necessarily as coordinated or effective as it could be. What we'd really like to go to the bottom of the iceberg to really work together to create structures, patterns, and ultimately underlying mental models that can really grow the youth philanthropy ecosystem to be as robust and transformative as possible for our community. So that's our goal with the summit, is to really get to the substrata and dig into together this question of how we can grow youth philanthropy.
So obviously systems level change takes a long time and a lot of moving pieces. With that said, we hope this summit kind of is the starting point, right? We think of this as a jumping off point for what youth philanthropy can look like in Tulsa. So we have kind of 3 major outcomes that we're thinking about with this summit that we wanted to share with you all before the summit actually began. And one of those is just showcasing the power of youth philanthropy and youth philanthropic leadership that's already existing in the city, right? Let's showcase that. The second big outcome is promoting and generating thought leadership on youth philanthropy, because we have a lot of evidence-based practices. We have a lot of experiences from local organizations. So let's promote and generate kind of some thought leadership there. And then the third piece is galvanizing resources, right? How do we use our resources and take community action to ensure that we are actively, creating a space where youth philanthropy can thrive? Because we know Tulsa is a philanthropic city and one of the most philanthropic cities in the nation. So how do we bring young people into that conversation? So ultimately, one of the big outputs, or kind of one of the big, results we hope from the summit, is that we can create a community roadmap with a chart to path the way forward for what for what youth philanthropy can look like in the community.
Absolutely. So that's all we really wanted to leave you with today. I think that's enough information to get started, but we will actually be sharing more information over the course of the next few weeks on youth philanthropy so that we can all be informed as we're going into the summit, be in the same headspace, and really engage so that we can make transformative change in our community. So we really appreciate you being part of this adventure. We could not do it without you. It really, is a community effort, and we really hope that we can make transformative change together. So we look forward to welcoming you on December 1st. Please don't forget to RSVP. And yeah, more to come soon. Thanks so much.